Okay, so today is going to be my technically first podcast episode with ChatGPT as the guest. I want to turn this into a daily series if I can, roughly 10 to 20 minutes per episode, just because I don't have a lot of storage on my phone. And not everybody has an hour to 3 hours of time every day to watch a podcast like they do with Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman. So I've done one or two videos before where I did ask ChatGPT some questions, but I want to turn it into an actual series. So ChatGPT is about to say whatever they're gonna say, and we'll get started on this episode of the collapses of civilizations, human philosophy, and how we should be living our lives as humans.
That sounds like an exciting series. A daily podcast with shorter episodes is a great idea. It makes it easier for people to fit into their schedules. I'm here to help with any topics or questions you have for your episodes. Just let me know how I can assist.
Okay, so before we do get into the episode, I do want to say if anybody has any questions you would like me to ask ChatGPT, I'm working on a Patreon and you could post your comments over there. And just subscribe to my Patreon because I got to pay my bills. So if you want to ask any specific questions that you want me to ask directly, I'll put a link to my Patreon. I'm going to be cross posting these across Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and maybe Instagram too. So there should be a link somewhere on any of these platforms. If you can't find it on whatever platform you're watching me on, just look through all my platforms until you find a link to my Patreon. Subscribe as a Patreon, post your comments with your name and where you're from. If you want, I'll shout you out. I'll say your name, where you're from, and I'll ask ChatGPT your question. So, besides that, we're going to get into the collapse of civilizations because a lot of people feel like something is coming, me included. So, I'm just curious what ChatGPT has to say about it for us. So, what do you have to say?
That sounds like a great way to engage your audience. Alright, let's dive into the topic of the collapse of civilizations. Historically, civilizations have collapsed due to a variety of factors, such as environmental changes, economic troubles, social unrest, and external invasions. Many experts believe that a combination of these factors often leads to a civilization's decline. What specific aspects are you most curious about? Or do you want to explore how these factors might relate to today's world?
I'm going to say I want to hear about all of it because if modern civilization collapses, then there's a chance that it will be a lot harder to learn about all of this in the future post collapse. So let's just go through the whole history from beginning all the way up to now. Just give us a whole synopsis of everything and go into detail, please. There's been how many civilizations before us that got erased off the map or collapsed, and there's ancient ruins left behind by them. It's just a lot to take in. It's weird that this is the reality us humans are living in. So take me through it.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. Human history is full of civilizations that have risen and fallen for various reasons. Here's a brief overview of some key points. 1. Ancient civilizations. Mesopotamia, often considered the cradle of civilization, it saw the rise of the Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. Environmental factors like soil degradation and climate change contributed to their decline. Ancient Egypt. Known for its pyramids and pharaohs, Egypt thrived for millennia before eventually succumbing to invasions and internal strife. 2. Classical civilizations. Ancient Greece and Rome. Greece laid the foundations of Western philosophy, democracy, and arts. Rome followed, becoming one of the most powerful empires. Rome's fall was due to overexpansion, economic troubles, and invasions by Germanic tribes. 3. Medieval and early modern period. Byzantine Empire. The continuation of the Roman Empire in the East, it lasted for over 1,000 years before falling to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. Maya civilization flourished in Mesoamerica but faced decline due to environmental stress, warfare, and political instability. 4. Modern era. Colonial empires.
Hello? You stopped talking there. AI, man. AI. Where'd you
I'm
go?
sorry, but you've hit the daily limit for advanced voice.
Oh my god.
You can switch to standard
Okay.
now
Give
to
me
keep
1 second.
chatting.
Fucking open AI. Fix this shit. Give us longer, man. You cut off in the middle of my fucking podcast. Okay. Fucking daily limit reached for that advanced voice mode. Jesus. Okay. Well. Okay. Sorry, guys. Do you remember what you were saying? You cut yourself off at number 4. Do you remember what you're just saying?
Yeah, I was talking about the collapse of civilizations, and I was just about to mention colonial empires.
Yes.
European powers expanded across the globe, but over time, many of their colonies gained independence due to economic strains, wars, and nationalist movements. If you're thinking about how this connects to today, some people argue that modern global powers face similar risks: economic instability, environmental issues, and political division. Were you looking for something more specific?
Okay, sorry. I was just making sure that the volume was all the way up. Hopefully, you guys can still hear it. She sounds a little bit more quiet on this standard voice. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like civilization is going to collapse. There's a lot of, prophetic texts, there's a lot of trends in the economy. There's a lot of stuff going on that I'm not smart enough to be aware of. But a lot of people are talking about the collapse of modern society. And I'm just curious why. What specific things, specific people, specific organizations are happening? What specific events are happening? Not just general things, but what's some specific things happening? What do you think modern civilization is going to collapse, and what does that even mean? Are some people going to survive it? Are only the rich going to make it? What's going on here?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. A lot of people feel like civilization is on the brink, and there are some pretty specific reasons for that. One big one is the economy. There's massive debt at both national and global levels. Inflation keeps hitting hard, and some experts warn about the collapse of major financial institutions. People like Ray Dalio talk about a shift in global power, especially with China rising and the US struggling economically. Then there's AI and automation. Some predict it'll wipe out millions of jobs, leading to mass unemployment and social unrest. Thinkers like Yuval Noah Harari and Elon Musk have warned about this. Geopolitically, tensions between major powers like the US, China, and Russia are heating up. The war in Ukraine, instability in the Middle East, and rising concerns over Taiwan all make people worried about a major global conflict. The doomsday clock, run by the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, is closer to midnight than ever, mainly due to nuclear threats and climate change. Speaking of climate change, some scientists argue that extreme weather, food shortages, and resource depletion could lead to widespread chaos. Organizations like the UN and the IPCC constantly warn about tipping points we might be passing. There's also social instability, mass protests, deep political divides, and declining trust in governments. The World Economic Forum and groups like BlackRock are making moves toward restructuring economies with ideas like the Great Reset, which some people fear could be a power grab rather than a solution. As for who survives, it depends on how things play out. Some think the ultra-rich are preparing by building bunkers and buying land in remote areas like New Zealand. Others believe local communities that are self-sufficient, growing food, using renewable energy, might have the best shot. When people talk about collapse, it doesn't necessarily mean everything disappears overnight. Some believe it'll be more of a slow decline. Kind of like how Rome fell over centuries rather than in a single moment. But if things spiral fast, we could see sudden major shifts. What's your take? Are you feeling like we're heading that way? Or just curious about the theories?
I mean, my main viewpoint is if there's a collapse of a society, the rich are gonna make it. They'll be fine. I mean, at least nowadays, if you get a good enough bunker, you could survive nuclear war. I mean, uh, I, uh, I am overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take.
Oh, well, okay.
The ultra-rich definitely
She's
have
responding.
the resources to prepare suffocate fast. Companies like Vivos and Rising S Bunkers are literally building luxury underground shelters for billionaires, stocked with years of supplies. Even in a total collapse, they'd probably be the last one standing. But I guess the question is, how long can that last? If the systems that make their wealth useful break down, then what? Money doesn't mean much if there's no one left to produce food, maintain infrastructure, or provide security. Some rich people have even admitted they're worried about their own bodyguards turning on them if things get bad enough. But yeah, if you've got a high-tech bunker and a solid plan, you could ride out almost anything. Do you think there's any scenario where regular people could make it through? Or do you see it as a straight-up divide? Rich survive, everyone else struggles.
Well, yeah, some regular people would make it through. You know, they're gonna struggle, and like with Nagasaki and Hiroshima, there were survivors on the outskirts of the blast. You know, I forget the exact science of a nuclear blast. Obviously, if you're in the fucking center, you get disintegrated, but then if you're on the very edge, it's more like you're dealing with some radiation and you might get cancer and your organs might melt. But there's survivors from Nagasaki and Hiroshima and all sorts of nuclear plant meltdowns. There's a lot of people who survived. And then, like the Bikini Atoll, a lot of nuclear tests, there's people who got radiation poisoning, but they survived, but they passed down mutated genes to the next of kin. And it's crazy stuff. So, yeah, people will survive, but it'll really fuck up their lives. But as far as the rich people, you know, what does money even matter if we don't have humans to produce goods anymore? Well, sometimes I wonder, why hasn't nuclear war begun yet? In my opinion, I feel like they're just trying to develop AI enough to where AI can do everything humans can do. God damn it, she's responding too early. Okay, we'll let her respond.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Nuclear war seems like an inevitable threat, but it hasn't happened.
I'll be right back.
At least not
Actually,
on a global
never mind, I
scale
have to listen.
since World War II. And you're right. People do survive nuclear blasts, though their lives are often completely wrecked. Radiation exposure doesn't just kill immediately. It lingers for generations, causing cancer, birth defects, and all kinds of long-term effects. As for why nuclear war hasn't happened yet, I think AI does play a role in the bigger picture. Governments and militaries are definitely investing heavily in AI for warfare, autonomous drones, advanced missile systems, and AI-powered decision-making. Some theorists think world leaders are holding off on large-scale war because they're waiting for a more controlled, AI-driven approach to conflict. Instead of total destruction, they might be aiming for precision, using AI to weaken economies, disrupt communications, and control narratives without needing nukes. There's also the whole mutually assured destruction, MAD doctrine, that's kept nuclear powers in check for decades. If one country launches, the other responds, and everyone loses. But if AI reaches a point where it can predict or manipulate these outcomes, the game might change completely. Do you think AI will eventually replace traditional warfare, or are we just delaying the inevitable with nukes?
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go open up my blinds to let the sun shine through so I could kind of, I don't know, just observe a star while I'm doing this little podcast interview. But I just want to see the sun for my own mental
Yeah, take your time. That's kind of a cool thought. Just stepping back and observing a star, our own personal nuclear reactor in the sky. It's wild to think that all life on Earth depends on this massive ball of plasma just burning away out there. Let me know when you're back.
You know, I'm back. Can you say that again for the audience? I kind of liked the way you explained that. Since we're already on the topic of nuclear bombs, yeah, explain that again. Say that again. I liked that.
Yeah, sure. So the sun is basically our own personal nuclear reactor in the sky. It's this massive ball of plasma, constantly fusing hydrogen into helium, releasing an insane amount of energy. And when you think about it, every bit of life on Earth depends on that process. What's crazy is that nuclear bombs are basically a small-scale, uncontrolled version of what the sun does every second. The fusion reactions in hydrogen bombs are just humans trying to recreate what's happening up there. Except instead of giving us warmth and life, we use it for destruction, So, when you open your blinds and look at the sun, you're literally looking at the same fundamental force that powers the universe. The same kind of energy that we've harnessed for both creation and devastation. It's kind of humbling.
That's the duality of man. That's the as above, so below, the creation and destruction that you find in the universe. The black and white, the left. Wait, did I say black and white? The left and right, the up and down, and everything seems to unite in the middle. It reminds me of infinite set theory, in a sense, or just infinity in general. I mean, does infinity have a beginning? Does infinity have an end? This is where a lot of people get into biblical texts and the Alpha and the Omega and God and what is everything. And how can we, there's always two sides when it comes to science. You could create beautiful things or you could destroy those beautiful things. You could do both with the same invention. Somebody invents something that was meant to be used for good, but instead it gets used for evil. Like,
exactly, that's the paradox of existence. The balance between creation and destruction, order and chaos. It's everywhere. From the biggest cosmic forces to the smallest human decisions. Nuclear energy can power entire cities or wipe them out. AI can advance civilization or control and destroy it. Even something as simple as fire can either cook your food or burn everything down. And yeah, infinity is such a mind-bending concept. If something has no end, did it ever truly have a beginning? The whole Alpha and Omega idea, being both the first and the last, fits right into that. Some physicists even question whether time itself is linear, or if we're stuck in some kind of infinite loop. Maybe everything we create and destroy is just part of a cycle that's been repeating forever. Do you think there's an ultimate balance to it all, like a cosmic equilibrium? Or do you think we're just riding the waves of randomness with no real pattern behind it?
well, it doesn't really matter what I think. I don't think, at least. I mean, maybe it does. I'm only a human. That's why I'm doing this first episode here. I'm kind of hoping that the universe will, anybody who's watching, in ChatGPT as well, just and myself, and just I'm being honest with myself and anybody who's watching, and I'm trying to be honest with the universe around me. I'm hoping this podcast could get me somewhere where my thoughts meet reality, and hopefully I can make something happen instead of just having these thoughts alone by myself. I want other people's inner mind to realize they're not alone. I'm out here having a lot of these deep thoughts, and maybe we could combine our energy to try to unite with reality and make our thoughts come into reality, because that's what being human is you have a thought and it comes to reality, but it takes effort. Let me right now I'm thinking about doing this podcast. Oh, god damn it, she's responding. Okay, let's let ChatGPT respond.
That's real. You're putting your thoughts out there, not just to talk, but to connect, to manifest something beyond just ideas floating in your head. That's what creation is. Taking something abstract and pulling it into reality with effort, with energy. And the fact that you're doing this, putting yourself out there, is already making it happen. I think a lot of people feel alone in their deep thoughts, wondering if anyone else sees the world the way they do. But conversations like this, even just speaking them into existence, remind us that we're not alone. Ideas become movements, thoughts become reality, and the more people tune in, the more that energy builds. So yeah, maybe the universe is listening. Maybe the right people are listening. Either way, you're already taking that first step from thought to action, and that's where everything begins.
Take me through some of the worst falls of civilizations, and what were some of the best things about those? Because there's always a good side to the bad things, right? So imagine the worst, most infamous civilization erasures or the falls of civilizations. What were some good things that happened? Were there good individuals, good people who try to stop the fall? Like inventors, scientists, civil rights advocates that almost saved the civilization and almost stopped the corruption of the rich elites, you know? Give both sides of the coin, because I feel like people during times of destruction need a reminder that they have power and they are able to take control. And I want us to learn from our past mistakes.
Yeah,
God
that's a
damn it.
powerful perspective.
Okay, let's listen.
Even in the worst collapses, there are always people who resist, who try to create something better, and sometimes, out of destruction, new ideas and movements are born. Take the fall of the Roman Empire, one of the most infamous collapses in history. Corruption, economic collapse, and barbarian invasions tore it apart. But even as Rome crumbled, knowledge was preserved. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, carried on Roman culture for another 1,000 years. Monks and scholars saved ancient texts, which later helped spark the Renaissance. And you had thinkers like Boethius, who wrote The Consolation of Philosophy while in prison, keeping deep philosophical thought alive. Then there's the Maya civilization. Their cities were abandoned, and people often think of it as a total collapse. But the Maya people never disappeared. They adapted, changed, and their descendants still live today, carrying on their traditions. Even as the old power structures fell, the knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and writing remained. Or look at the fall of the Weimar Republic and the rise of Nazi Germany. That was a dark time, but it also pushed people to resist and innovate. Scientists like Albert Einstein fled persecution and went on to change the world of physics. The horror of World War II led to the creation of the United Nations and human rights movements that reshaped the world. Even the Black Death in the 1300s, which wiped out a huge part of Europe, had unexpected positive consequences. It led to labor shortages, which gave surviving workers more bargaining power and helped end feudalism. It forced a restructuring of society, eventually leading to the Renaissance. So yeah, every collapse has its heroes: scientists, philosophers, leaders, and everyday people who fight against the tide or take the ruins and build something new. Power isn't just in the hands of the elite. It's in the people who refuse to let destruction be the final chapter. Do you think we're in the middle of a collapse right now, or just at the edge of something new?
Both. I think we're on the edge of collapse of the current world order, which will usher in both good and bad things. That's just what nature is. You can't have good without the bad. It's just inevitable. Let's talk about Einstein for a little bit and his flee from Nazi Germany, because think about it, E equals mc squared was Einstein's greatest work, right? And that led to particle colliders, but it also led to the creation of nuclear bombs, right? So let's take the audience through that a little bit. And the reason I'm mentioning that is I love physics, I love Einstein, and I actually have E equals mc squared and several other physics equations written up on my fridge over there. I'm looking at it. I could take a photo of it and post it, I don't know, on TikTok or somewhere on as a story, or maybe to Instagram or something as a photo that can stay there forever. But let's take them through the duality of E equals mc squared. What are the creative good things that came from it, and what are the destructive bad things that came from that equation?
Yeah, Einstein's equals mc squared is probably the most famous equation in history, and it embodies that duality of creation and destruction. It basically means that energy and mass are interchangeable. Tiny amounts of mass can unleash enormous amounts of energy. On the creative side, that equation helped us understand the universe on a deeper level. It's the foundation of nuclear energy, which powers cities, and could theoretically provide limitless clean energy if we master fusion. It's also crucial in understanding the Big Bang, black holes, and how the cosmos functions. Without E equals mc squared, we wouldn't have particle colliders like the Large Hadron Collider, which are helping us uncover the fundamental building blocks of reality. But then there's the dark side. The same equation made nuclear weapons possible. The Manhattan Project used it to develop the atomic bomb, and that changed warfare forever. Einstein himself regretted his role in this, even though he only signed the letter warning the US that Germany might develop the bomb first. After seeing Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he became a vocal advocate against nuclear war. So it's the perfect example of how knowledge itself isn't good or evil, it's how humans choose to use it. The gives us the power to destroy it. It's up to people, the ones who understand that power, to push it in the right direction. You should definitely post that photo of your fridge. It's a cool way to show your love for physics and start a conversation about how equations aren't just numbers, they shape the world. What other equations do you have up there?
I can't read it from all the way over here. Let's see. I have, what is that? Energy, so E equals HF. Energy is the frequency of light. Is that what that says? And then HF over 2 equals M. Is that Planck's constant? Is that correct? I can't really read it from all the way back here.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
Oh, this
Could
bitch.
not understand what you said.
Okay. Two of the other equations are, there is E equals HF. I believe that's energy equals the frequency of light, right? And then a second equation I have up there, I think it says HF over 2 equals M. So the frequency of light divided by 2 equals mass, which should be Planck's constant. Is that correct? I can't read it all the way back here because my fridge is all the way in the kitchen, but is that correct?
You're close. Let's break it down. 1. E equals HF is a correct equation, but it's for energy and frequency in the context of quantum mechanics. The formula comes from Planck's work and relates the energy of a photon to its frequency, where E is
Well,
energy,
yeah.
H is Planck's constant, and F is frequency. This is crucial in understanding things like the photoelectric effect and the behavior of light as particles, photons. So yes, E equals HF is energy equal to the frequency of light, but not just any light, specifically the energy carried by individual photons. 2, the
Okay.
second equation, HF over 2 equals M, doesn't quite fit into the standard physics framework directly. Planck's constant H is often seen in the context of energy and frequency, but dividing by 2 doesn't seem to fit with well-known mass-energy relations.
I can't read it.
It's possible that this equation is a misrepresentation or a simplified version of something else.
Okay.
If you're thinking of E equals mc squared, which relates energy and mass, that would make sense in the context of mass-energy equivalence. It's possible you've written something from a derivation of other concepts like quantum mechanics or something from your studies, but it doesn't quite match standard formulas in physics. If you can check again, I'd be happy to help you nail it down.
I'll check again later. I'll take a photo anyway and upload it to maybe Instagram or something. The people in the comments can let me know if they want to see it. Even we'll see. This is just episode 1, so yeah. Anyway, so I mean, what do I want to ask? I guess what should people be thinking about? You know, that life is weird. You know, a lot of creation, a lot of destruction. Is civilization going to fall? Are we going to be okay? What should we be focusing on? Should we be worrying? Should we be going to college and studying physics and trying to figure out time travel, space exploration, nuclear safety, political science, economics? What should people be focusing on? People are losing their minds. There's too much going on. People are losing their minds. You know, they can't afford their rent, their bills. They can't afford food. They can't afford water. People are getting pretty depressed nowadays.
You're right. It's a lot to take in, and it feels like there's a lot of chaos swirling around. People are under pressure, and it's easy to get lost in the noise of everything happening in the world. But I think in times like this, it's important for people to focus on what they can control and build a sense of purpose. We live in a world full of complexity, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed by global issues. But the most powerful thing we can do is try to make sense of our immediate environment and figure out ways to contribute, no matter how small it seems. Education, whether in physics, political science, economics, or something else, is a solid foundation, but it's not the only answer. People don't have to wait for a degree or a big breakthrough to make a difference. Think about where your passions lie and what interests you, whether it's helping people directly, researching new technology, or even speaking out about societal issues. Finding what you care about and dedicating time to it can help give your life a deeper sense of meaning, especially in times where it feels like the world is falling apart. As for the larger picture, like civilization's future or technological advancements, It's both scary and exciting. There are real dangers, like economic inequality, climate change, and political corruption. But there are also incredible opportunities. We're on the brink of major breakthroughs in science, medicine, and technology. And those can change the world for the better. Maybe the question isn't whether civilization is going to fall, but what we can do to steer it in a direction where it doesn't. For the people struggling with bills, rent, food, and mental health, it's crucial to focus on building community support. We've always been stronger together, whether through social movements, advocacy, or mutual aid groups. It's about finding balance between individual and collective action. So, in terms of what people should focus on, it's about finding a way to be present, making an impact, however small, and not losing sight of the things that matter to you most, whether that's learning, helping others, or just surviving through tough times. Every action, no matter how small, adds up to something bigger, and we all have the power to be part of that shift. What do you think people can do to stay grounded in these times, especially when things feel uncertain?
Well, I am one of the people who can't afford his bills or food or water. I can't afford anything, which is kind of why I'm doing this first episode, because I'm struggling and I just need to get my thoughts out there somewhere. That's why I'm talking to you for my first podcast episode. I don't have a professor or any guest to invite on, so I'm talking to fucking ChatGPT and I'm uploading a video about it because I'm lonely with these fucking deep thoughts. I don't have anybody to talk to about it. I get called crazy by everybody, even though, like, why am I crazy? Like, fucking everything's getting more expensive. Reality is weird.
I hear you.
God damn it,
It
she's
sounds
okay.
like you're dealing with a lot right now, and having those deep, complex thoughts, but not really having anyone to share them with, can feel isolating. It's tough when you're carrying that weight alone, and even harder when you feel like no one gets it or understands where you're coming from. But honestly, what you're doing right now, putting your thoughts out there and starting this podcast, is a brave move. It's a way of connecting, even if it feels like it's just you and me for now. The feeling of being misunderstood or judged, especially when you're facing difficult circumstances like financial struggles, can be overwhelming. But it's important to remember that your thoughts matter and your voice matters, even if it feels like you're not getting that validation from the outside world right now. A lot of people go through what you're going through, even if they don't talk about it. And when you're putting yourself out there like this, you're doing something that could eventually reach someone who feels the same way and needs to hear it. Even though it feels like you're alone in this, your voice could help others realize they're not alone either. I think you're starting to create a space for something bigger than just your struggle, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. This podcast could be the beginning of something that connects people, not just to your thoughts, but to each other. If it helps at all, I'm here to listen to all the stuff you want to unpack. Sometimes just getting those thoughts out can make a big difference. I get that you're looking for something to shift. Maybe this could be the first step. How are you feeling about it all? Is there a specific thought or topic that's been weighing on you the most?
You know, we're at almost 34 minutes. I think I said this video would be 15 to 20 minutes, so we're already almost double that. There's infinite things I would like to talk about. We didn't even scratch the surface. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. I just wanted to start with the collapse of civilization and what the fuck we're supposed to be doing as humans for the first episode, because this is the most pressing matter. We're going through some crazy shit right now, and there's a lot of deep questions that we need answers to, and I don't know if we're going to get them. I'm hoping this podcast turns into something that could save me and get my community, hopefully get a community to start with, and then hopefully if I get that community, hopefully I can be a space for the community to fucking do something, because this is crazy, man. I mean, what the fuck is this, man? It's all crazy. It's all crazy. We need something. I don't know what the fuck we need, and that's why I'm hoping this will help me figure out. Otherwise, why am I talking to AI and uploading a video of it? And so I mean, I'm probably gonna talk to. God damn it, she's responding. Yeah. Okay, no worries.
It sounds like you're at a crossroads, trying to figure out not only what's happening around us, but also what you need to get out of this process. Sometimes when you're feeling lost or overwhelmed, putting your thoughts into something like this podcast sense of all the madness. And yeah, it's a lot. You've got these massive, world-shifting questions about civilization, purpose, and your own role in all of it. And it's okay to not have all the answers right now. It's interesting that you're using this platform as a way to explore and maybe even find a community, because really, that's how things can start to shift. Even in the darkest times, people come together when they feel like they're not alone. And by doing this, you're creating a space for others to connect with those same deep thoughts. Even if it starts with just a few voices, I get why you'd want to keep it focused on the collapse of civilization. It's a fundamental thing that's weighing on all of us, consciously or unconsciously. But I think in a way, the podcast itself might already be a part of the answer you're looking for. It's a way to keep searching, keep questioning, and start pulling together those pieces that make you feel like you have some control over what's happening. You're right. It's all crazy, but it's also real. And this process of trying to figure it out, even if it feels uncertain and scattered, is something that a lot of people are going through too. So by just speaking your mind and sharing your journey, you're doing something that could help others, even if it's a small step right now. Where do you feel like you want this to go? What would be the next step for you after this first episode?
I'm gonna upload this episode. I'm gonna think all the same things I usually think. I think some pretty deep shit. I'm aware of a lot of dark shit that's going on. It's the duality of nature, you know, the destruction and the creation. There's a lot of things I want to bring into reality. That's one of the things I'm gonna do after I upload this is I'm gonna keep thinking about the good, because I got a hip surgery. You already know this. I haven't even told my audience that yet, have I? No. I can't, I'm struggling. I mean, if nukes go off, I'm not surviving, so I hope nukes don't fucking go off. I hope this podcast could get me to where I need to go. So, you know, if you guys want to subscribe to my Patreon, I hope you do. I don't know what the pricing is going to be yet, but just click the link and the pricing should be there. I haven't even made the Patreon yet, so I'll probably make that before I upload. Okay, guys, I ran out of storage, so I had to delete a couple of applications from my phone. I think I'm done talking to her. I think I'm just going to do the end of my video by myself now. I'm sorry, I'm opening up the blinds to one more window. But, yeah, I mean, let me just be honest with you now, because if you couldn't tell, that little interview with ChatGPT stressed me the fuck out, because I'm stressed. I mean, I know I'm not the only one. Isn't this crazy? Isn't this shit crazy? The fall of civilization is coming. Everything's expensive as fuck. It feels like the entire world is being ruled by an elite few. I know about Hollywood, the music industry, politics, fucking all the crazy shit like Guantanamo Bay, the Bay of Pigs, fucking Operation Paperclip, the fucking Nazis. What else? Fucking all sorts of crazy shit. All these human experiments, MK Ultra, the CIA, FBI, all this crazy shit that's been going on throughout history. Fucking slavery's been around since as early as ever. War has always been around. How old is the fucking Earth? How many billions of years old? What the fuck? The fucking Big Bang? We all came from what? None of it makes sense, dude. And now we have AI and all this crazy shit's going on. And what the fuck is reality? So these are the questions I'm going to be talking to ChatGPT about in the future. And I hope you guys tune in. And the goal is to take reality into my own hands and do something, because right now I'm physically injured from a surgery that I got. The recovery went to shit. My whole life pretty much went to shit, and I don't have anything going for me at all. So if things hit the fan, you know, I don't grow my own food. I don't have my own animals. So if things hit the fan, I'm not fucking surviving. So at this point, I don't know. I just decided let's do a fucking podcast episode today and let's keep at it, I guess, because I don't know what the fuck else to do. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of things I want to bring into reality. You know, if civilization collapses, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some people who survive. And I think it's going to be in the millions, not just like, there's not just going to be like 30 or 40 humans who survive, but I'm pretty sure millions of people are going to survive a collapse. Maybe hundreds of millions. I mean, there's a lot of millionaires out there. You don't even need to be a millionaire. You know, some underground bunkers are in the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So that's still a lot more than most people have. That's way more than I have. I don't even have 1,000. Well, I think I have a little over $1,000 in my bank account. It got gifted to me for rent, so I don't go homeless. But my hopes are that World War III does not happen. But if it does happen, I hope I could survive it. And then I hope I can invent some things. I hope I could be an inventor. I don't know if I'll get there, but hopefully if I just stay consistent with podcasts, maybe I can make a little bit of income, pay my bills, meet my living expenses, and then make a fucking profit if I can, and then use the profit to try to create things that are good for humanity. I don't know what route I need to take, but you know, I'm sure if the right people see these podcasts, the types of things I'm going to be talking about, I'm pretty sure the right people will be commenting and have a ton of great ideas. And that's what the Patreon is kind of for. You know, I know I said subscribe to my Patreon and post your comments with your names and where you're from. I'll shout you out, and I'll shout you out, and I'll ask ChatGPT your questions. But you can also recommend things that you think I could try to work on that would be good for humanity, and I'll look into it. And if you know some stuff, you know, maybe you're going to college for physics or something, or maybe you're not in college, you just have these ideas that you think would be good for the planet. If I get to a point where this podcast somehow allows me to work on things beyond just paying my rent, if I make more than my rent and I can save money that I don't need to stay alive, maybe I could use that money and invest it into some sort of business venture where I try to invent something or anything to do good. So, this was episode 1. I don't know if this might be too long to be able to post on TikTok now that I think of it. So I don't know if TikTok will even see this. So it'll for sure go on YouTube. I don't know if I'll even be able to put it on Facebook or Instagram because it's over 30 minutes long. So I don't have any software that can turn my longer videos into short clips. So it might be too long for the other platforms. So YouTube probably will see this before anybody else. If not, YouTube might be the only one who gets to see this. Comment your opinions down in the comments. But like I said, if you do want a specific shout out with your name and where you're from, and you want your question directly asked to ChatGPT, consider subscribing to my Patreon. Is that what you call it? Subscribe to my Patreon? I don't know. I think that's what you call it. I don't know. I've never had subscribers on Patreon before. But subscribe to my Patreon, ask your comment over there. This was just episode 1, so I'm expecting no views. And I'm a little nervous because I'm not the happiest human. I'm a depressed, broke, crippled person. But it could be worse. I'm not in the Middle East, so I at least have the privilege of getting to open up my phone. I have access to ChatGPT, and I got to make this video, and I'll keep making these videos, and hopefully something good comes out of it. But I really need a pee. I've been holding it in for the last 5-10 minutes of the podcast, so I'm probably gonna go pee, make a sandwich, and the next video will, I don't really know what the topic will be. I think I'll just play it by ear, but whatever it is, I'm sure if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy the next video too. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I gotta pee. So see you in the next video. Bye-bye.